The first clue about when humans started wearing clothes did not come from an ancient shirt, a cave painting, or a frozen pair of pants. It came from lice. Yes, lice. The tiny insects that can shut down an entire elementary school classroom may also hold one of the biggest secrets in human history. The problem is that ancient clothing usually does not survive. Animal skin, leather, grass, and plant fibers rot over time. So archaeologists cannot simply dig up the first jacket ever made and ask who designed it. Instead, scientists studied two types of human lice. Head lice live in our hair. Body lice mostly live in clothing, especially around seams and folds. Body lice cannot really exist without clothes. They need fabric to live, hide, and lay their eggs. So at some point, humans began wearing clothes regularly. Head lice saw the opportunity, moved downstairs, and became body lice. Humans had invented clothing, the lice had invented rent-free living. By comparing the genes of head lice and body lice, researchers estimated that people may have started wearing clothing regularly somewhere between about 83,000 and 170,000 years ago. That is a huge range, so we still do not know the exact date. But we do know this: humans were getting dressed long before cities, written language, or shopping malls. So why did we start? Nearly every other large mammal already has a natural coat. Bears have fur, wolves have fur, chimpanzees have fur. Then there are humans. We are standing in the middle of nature, looking strangely unfinished. Compared with other primates, humans have much less thick body hair. Scientists believe one major reason may be heat. Early humans spent a lot of time walking and running through hot environments. Thick fur would have trapped heat and made it easier to overheat. Instead, our bodies developed millions of sweat glands. Humans became excellent at sweating, not flying, not breathing underwater, sweating. It may not sound impressive, but it allowed our ancestors to stay active in the heat for longer periods. There was just one problem. A body designed to lose heat works very well on a hot afternoon. It works much less well during a cold night, heavy rain, or winter in Ice Age Europe. Evolution had given us a great cooling system, but forgot to include a jacket. Clothing helped fix that mistake. The earliest clothes were probably very simple. People may have wrapped animal skins around their shoulders, waists, or legs and tied them in place with plant fibers or animal tendons. These clothes would not have looked like anything hanging in your closet today. They were probably closer to a blanket with a rope around it. But early humans were not worried about looking good in vacation photos. They wanted to stay alive. Clothing protected them from cold weather, but warmth may not have been the only reason they wore it. Imagine walking through tall grass and thorny bushes all day with most of your skin uncovered. You would deal with cuts, insect bites, sunburn, sharp rocks, and plants that seem to attack you personally. Even a basic animal skin wrap could provide useful protection. In other words, ancient humans may have invented pants because nature kept scratching their legs, but clothing soon became more than protection. Humans are extremely social. We constantly look at one another and make quick judgments. Who belongs to our group? Who is important? Who is dangerous? Who clearly dressed in the dark this morning? Early humans probably did something similar. Long before we have clear evidence of tailored clothing, people were already collecting colored minerals such as red ochre. They may have used these pigments on objects, animal skins, or their bodies. Appearance mattered. A certain animal skin may have shown that someone was a skilled hunter. A special color may have identified a group. Shells, beads, teeth, and bones could be worn as decoration. At some point, a person probably walked into camp wearing an impressive hide. Everyone else looked at it and thought, okay, now I need one. And just like that, fashion began. The first clothing was probably loose and rough. That was enough in warm or mild weather. But when humans moved into colder parts of Europe and Asia, loose animal skins became a serious problem. Cold air could enter through every gap. Warm air could escape from the neck, waist, wrists, and ankles. To survive freezing temperatures, people needed clothing that fitted the body more closely. That required tools. Early humans used sharpened bone tools called awls to punch holes through animal hides. They could then pull plant cord or animal tendon through those holes and join separate pieces together. Later, people developed eyed needles. These look similar to sewing needles today, although they were made from bone rather than metal. Making one was not easy. A person had to cut a small piece of bone, shape it, polish it, sharpen one end, and carefully create a tiny hole for thread. One wrong move and hours of careful work became a very expensive toothpick. These needles allowed people to make tighter seams and more fitted clothing. They could create sleeves, leggings, shoes, and several layers that trapped warm air close to the body. This was not just a small improvement. In freezing environments, fitted clothing could mean the difference between surviving the night and not waking up the next morning. Needles may also have allowed people to attach beads and decorations to their clothes. That tells us something interesting. Once humans learned how to make clothing work, they immediately started asking how to make it look better. Apparently, even during the Ice Age, people were concerned about the outfit. Modern humans were not the only ones covering their bodies. Neanderthals lived through extremely cold conditions in Europe and Western Asia. Archaeologists have found tools that appear to have been used for scraping and preparing animal hides. We do not have a complete Neanderthal outfit. No one has discovered a prehistoric winter catalog, but surviving in those climates without clothing would have been extremely difficult. Neanderthals probably used animal skins along with fire and shelter to stay warm. Humans also learned to make thread and cord from plants. At a cave in the country of Georgia, researchers found ancient flax fibers. Some of them had been twisted, knotted, and even dyed different colors. These fibers may have been used to make rope, baskets, nets, or clothing. The important part is that some were colored. People had found a perfectly useful natural fiber and decided it needed a new shade. That may be one of the most human decisions ever made. As farming developed, clothing changed even more. People made linen from flax, wool from sheep, cotton from plants, and silk from silkworms. Textiles became easier to shape, decorate, trade, and produce in larger amounts. Different clothing began serving different purposes. People had clothes for work, cold weather, religious ceremonies, battle, weddings, funerals, and social rank. Rulers dressed differently from farmers. Priests dressed differently from soldiers. Wealthy people used rare colors and expensive fabrics to show their position. Clothing had become a kind of language. Without speaking, an outfit could say, "I belong to this group." It could say, "I have power." It could say, "I am celebrating." Or, in some cases, "I spent far too much money on this." So why did ancient humans begin wearing clothes? There was probably not one single reason. Clothes protected their skin. They helped them survive cold weather. They allowed humans to move into places where their nearly hairless bodies could not survive alone. But clothing also became a way to show identity, skill, status, culture, and personality. Humans did not wait for evolution to grow their fur back. They created a second skin. Then they stitched it, colored it, decorated it, traded it, and built entire industries around it. And we are still doing the same thing today. When you choose a hoodie, uniform, suit, dress, or the same pair of sweatpants for the third day in a row, you are making decisions about comfort, protection, and how other people see you. That habit may connect you to people who lived more than 100,000 years ago. They wore animal skins. You wear clothes made in a factory. But the basic idea has not changed much. We get cold, we get creative, we get dressed. Then we stand in front of a closet full of clothes and announce that we have absolutely nothing to wear.